There's a 600. Doesn't sound quite like that, but it sounds good. Here's our buddy pulling up. See, there's the classic CBR 4-cylinder. Sounds great. You won't get this out of that, but you can make this sound great, okay? I promise. What's up, guys? My name is Nick. This is my 2023 Yamaha R7. I've had this for about a year now. I bought it used. I put about 4,500 miles on it. Bought it from a dealership. As soon as I saw it, I was like, wow, that's the bike for me. It just caught my eye. The blue really pops. I love the blue. I've had a Z900, had an MT-07, a CBR. I've had quite a few bikes, so this is my 5th one. This is a 689cc bike with a parallel twin. It's got the same engine as the MT-07 line. It's got about 50 feet-pounds of torque at 6,500 RPMs. Brakes on it are fine. They're pretty soft. Really no need to upgrade it unless you're doing some really hardcore riding or you're hitting the track. Suspension is really soft. I mean, you're gonna feel when you make a sudden stop, you're gonna feel it really go down. But other than that, it's not too bad. So the throttle on this is pretty responsive. You're gonna get a lot of that low end power since it is torquey, like the MT-07. In terms of riding position, it's definitely super sport. It's not as intense as that R6 or R1. The R6 and R1 are definitely the most aggressive out of any bike I've ever been on. They're a little more tucked in, but this is still, you're over there, you're hunched over, you're going. I would say it's very comparable to like the Kawasaki ZX-R. I've read a few of those and it feels the exact same. A great seat height. It's about 32 inches. I'm, for reference, 5'10" with boots on, and I can easily, get most of my boots on the ground, or, it's so light. The bike is only 415 pounds soaking wet, so I can easily one foot. Like I said, I'm 5'9", 5'10" with these big boots on, and when I sit on it, I'm on flat ground. I have the top part flat, right? It's very comfortable. I'm not tiptoeing. If you're a little smaller, shorter guy or girl, you might be a little tiptoey, and you can easily just 1 foot here, right? If you're stopping, I mean, look at this thing. But look, it's so easy. You can really get down there. You can just sit here and not have to worry about anything. So it's a great seat height. You're sitting like this, easy to tuck. Like I said, it's very narrow. So on the R1, R6, you're kind of sticking out. You're a little bit more down and in. Here you're a little bit more out. Everything's right here. It's a great position. I know a lot of people think, oh, your lower back, your wrist. Honestly, coming from naked sport bikes where you're a little more upright, I thought this was gonna be a lot worse. It really isn't. And I think cornering is 10 times easier, especially for a beginner. You'd much rather be down here, leaning into that corner and looking, rather than, up here. Not saying that that's not good, but here it's just so much more natural. It's so much more easier to lean off the bike. You have plenty of room, elbow room, knee room. You can't go wrong. Very, very easy. So great ergonomics. It's very nimble too. In terms of looks wise, I get all the time, is this an R6? Is this an R1? The whole family of this Yamaha line is very similar. The only difference with the R7 is it's very narrow. If you can see, I mean, from the side you can't tell at all, but up here it's very, very narrow. When you're sitting on there, you can really hug the tank. So that's the main difference. The R1 and R6 have a little bit bigger tank. So this one is just so narrow. It's very easy to squeeze and go into corners. It's very light, like I mentioned. I mean, you can flick it left, right, up, down. It doesn't matter. It goes where it wants. I washed this, and I wish I brought a towel to clean the display. It's just watermarks. So it does have a nice TFT display. It doesn't come with standard traction control. You can upgrade that if you need to. I haven't had any issues. I don't ride this on the track. I just do street riding, so nothing crazy, just twisties and whatnot. But it's got a good dash, easy to read. Everything is the horn is easy to access, brights are easy. The target audience for this bike is a lot of beginner focused people, I would say, or intermediate level. I mean, all skill levels can have fun for sure. I would say I'm more on the intermediate side. I'm by no means advanced, but I'm certainly not a beginner. And it's fun. I mean, you can rip it 0 to 60 in just a couple of seconds. It's super fast in the corners. You can rip it. It's very forgiving. It is very beginner friendly. The engine is very, very forgiving. So you can rip it, have fun. But the only downside is the position again. If you're a beginner, I wouldn't recommend starting on something that's so, you know, hyper sportish, that's you're kind of going down. It's tough on low speeds if you're not comfortable. But if any sort of bike experience, like a dirt bike, you had a Grom, you had anything, I would say this is more than fine for a beginner bike, and you will have it for a while. So it's 700 cc's, it's about a little more than 70 horsepower. You can beat most cars, you know, off a standstill. So another thing that most people are probably curious about, how fast does it go, right? I think I've gotten this up to maybe 130, 135. You can probably push it a little further in the right conditions. There's really no need to, unless, you know, you're a straight line warrior, you just want to get the most out of it. I think the very comfortable gear, that third gear, second, third, fourth gear, are super fun gears to bang out in this thing, in the twisties. I don't really go 6th gear a lot unless I'm really, you know, going 70 plus on the highway. 130, maybe 140, but I doubt it. But it's quick. I mean, like I said, most people are probably the beginner, intermediate level riders who are wanting this. Like I said, it's a very easy bike to modify. You got holes right here for frame sliders. You can't mess this up. It's super easy. Put it in there. Great, very beginner focused. Super easy exhaust. Everything's easy to work on this bike. Maintenance, your chain, everything's exposed. You don't have to really remove anything. I bought this bike with a used slip-on, so my gas mileage is terrible. It is definitely not tuned, and it is not great. I would recommend either getting a full system or really messing with it and getting a proper tune. Another question a lot of people ask is, how smooth is the bike? I think that's very important. The Yamaha line, this engine, it is the same as the MT-07 that I had. By no means the smoothest gearbox. It will have its rough goes, but you know, it's very easy. You can't really mess it up. But something like, compared to at least what I had, the Z900, I've ridden a few ZX6Rs. They are so smooth in my opinion. They're a joy to shift. Not saying that this isn't, but it's just not as smooth as those. All in all, it's a great bike. Like I said, if you're looking for a bike that this might be your second, maybe your third, or hell, maybe your first bike, it's great if you want to get into that sport bike feel. I mean, you got the looks of it. You feel like, you know, you're going down there. It's very easy to corner. And especially depending on where you live, I got this used for about $7,000. Honestly, bikes are only going up in price, so if you buy it smartly, you can definitely sell it for more than you bought it for a lot of times. Also, like to mention the rear tire. So the Yamaha R7 comes stock with these Bridgestone Hypersport S22s. They're great. I mean, I need a new rear tire, so I'm kind of beating it up here, but it's really not that bad. Okay, to wrap things up, so who would want this bike and why would you want this bike? Like I mentioned before, it's definitely beginner to intermediate focused. If this is your first time roaming into that, you know, sport bike position field, this is a perfect example and a great bike to start with. I mean, even if you came from something like a 600 or like a 1000 cc, and you can't use all that power in the street, most people can't, and you want to downgrade to something a little torquier and a little faster off the rip, perfect bike for you. You can't go wrong with it. Easy to maintain, easy to modify. All rangers can have fun on this, but I would say it's more beginner to intermediate level focused. So let's start the bike. Let you guys hear it. It does pop a lot. Nobody really knows. So like I said, when you're in gear and you're downshifting, you're rev matching, it really pops. It sounds good. Especially when you get a little bit higher in the RPMs, you know, past 5, 6, which is low on, you know, most bikes, but for, you know, these torque machines, it's a little higher, 7,000, 8,000 RPMs. It starts to get that humming, the buzzing. It sounds really good, like this in the distance, if you can hear that. But it does sound really good for a parallel twin. Most people are like, holy cow, is that a triple?